everyone, welcome to Dear Society, a podcast where we, two high schoolers living in Mumbai, discuss and share our perspectives on the societal issues that impact our daily lives. We're so glad you're here.
In this season, we'll be talking about feminism, a topic that's often misunderstood and can mean different things to different people.
In this episode, we aim to look at the way feminism is perceived by different people and how this can shape society.
We look at some common myths, share different perspectives, and explore what feminism actually is.
So let's get started.
The first misconception that we're addressing is that feminism signifies that women are superior to men and that feminists hate men. This is a deep-rooted belief that stems from historical portrayals as well as distortions on social media.
On online platforms, the movement itself is marketed as a form of misandry through extreme or fake portrayals that paint a negative picture of the true idea, just for increased views. This makes people associate feminist movements with man-hating and bias.
However, this is really not what the foundational theories of feminism are, as all feminism has truly been about is gender equality, not superiority. Feminists aim to provide equal standards and opportunities to all genders, and providing platforms to women is a step taken to ensure equality and respect for them, not to diminish the status of men.
Yes, that brings me to the next myth about this movement, which is that feminism isn't necessary for the future anymore. This belief couldn't be farther from the truth, as though major milestones like women's suffrage, greater access to education, and increased representation in leadership have been achieved, gender inequality still exists in so many forms.
For example, one sexist issue that still persists today is the gender pay gap. Even though women are just as qualified and capable as men, they're still more likely to be paid less for similar work. It's a reminder that equality isn't just about having the same rights on paper. It's also about making sure those rights translate into real opportunities and fair treatment in real life, rather than just being another useless gesture.
Exactly. Especially as due to the change in society, the challenges also end up changing. In today's age of digital advancements, sexism isn't prevalent in classrooms and workplaces alone. It is showing up online as well. Let's take an example of AI, suppose. Research shows how most AI algorithms that learn from a vast amount of historical data inevitably absorb the existing gender inequalities and stereotypes and reproduce these in the answers and information it provides to users. This is a rising issue because so many young people rely on AI for information, advice, and decision making in their everyday lives. If these biases go unchecked, they can reinforce harmful stereotypes and entrench gender equality on an even larger scale than it is today.
Which is exactly why feminism is not only relevant, but it is absolutely necessary for the future. Moving on, the third common misconception is that feminism is only for women. This belief comes from the fact that the early feminist movement focused on women's suffrage and equal rights. Because of that, many people assume feminism only benefits women.
But I don't believe that that's what feminism stands for. At its core, feminism is about equality, and that benefits everyone. Traditional gender roles don't just affect women, they can also place unfair expectations on men, like the pressure to always appear strong, unemotional, or dominant.
In fact, feminist writer Bell Hooks in Feminism is for Everybody argues that these harmful gender expectations affect men too. She explains that feminism is about shared liberation, not giving one gender more rights than the other.
We can also see this idea in action today. Campaigns like the UN Women's He for She movement encourage men and boys to become active supporters of gender equality. This proves how achieving equality isn't just a woman's responsibility. It's something everyone can work toward together, and only then will it actually work.
Another common misconception is that feminists hate makeup, fashion, or femininity. This idea mostly comes from the second wave feminist movement in the 1960s and 70s.
Back then, some feminists chose to stop wearing makeup and traditional feminine clothing. But they weren't rejecting femininity itself, They were protesting against patriarchal beauty standards and the pressure placed on women to always look a certain way.
Exactly. The point they were trying to prove wasn't that makeup or feminine fashion is a necessity. The real message was that women should have the freedom to choose how they express themselves.
Before we wrap things up, we wanted to go beyond our own opinions and research and hear what people our age actually think about feminism. So, we put together a small scale survey for students aged 12 to 18 from our school. We asked them what feminism means to them, where they've seen or experienced sexism, and what changes they'd like to see. And honestly, some of these responses were super thoughtful.
One thing that really stood out from our survey was that feminism means something different to everyone. For some, it's about equal opportunities. For others, it's about feeling safe when they're going out to buy groceries at 10 pm, being respected whether they're wearing a crop top or a kurti, or simply having the freedom to make their own choices without being judged. But beneath all those different perspectives was one powerful idea that almost everyone agreed on. Feminism isn't about women being above men. It is about making sure that no one is held behind because of their gender.
What struck me most was that even the people who said they had never personally experienced sexism still believed feminism was necessary because they'd seen it happen to people around them. That says something important. You don't have to experience injustice yourself to recognize that it exists.
Our survey also showed that sexism isn't always loud. More often, it hides in everyday stereotypes, expectations, and harmless comments that slowly shape how people see themselves and what they believe they're capable of.
And that's exactly why feminism still matters. It's not about dwelling on the past, it's about shaping a better future for everyone. A future where opportunities aren't limited by gender, respect isn't conditional, and equality isn't just an ideal, it's the standard.
And with that, we've come to an end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening.
We hope this conversation gave you a new perspective on feminism and encouraged you to question some of the common misconceptions surrounding it.
Thanks for joining us on Dear Society. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, take care.
Bye everyone!